Today's an Ask Me Anything, so it's kind of interactive. Um, I do have like a backup of like FAQ questions that I can start answering if nobody has like any specific questions, but it's also not quite 11:30 yet, so we can wait just a few minutes. Um, Let's see. For those of you who are new here, I am an early childhood special education teacher. I have a podcast. I started here on Substack about a little more than a year ago. And my purpose is just to help others who are neurodivergent. I was diagnosed with ADHD about 8 years ago. And in the last 3 years, 2 years, I have self diagnosed myself with autism as well. It's like that you get diagnosed with ADHD and you start taking the meds and doing the things, and then you're like, something still is wonky. And yeah, it wasn't wonky, it was just autism. ADHD medication just made the autism symptoms kind of unable to be hidden anymore. So, yeah. Um, This happened because I got put on a plan at my job, and it was crucial that I got help. I've also been I'm misdiagnosed. I'm late diagnosed. I've been misdiagnosed. I've been on a lot of different medications. Medication's also one of my special interests. Neurodivergent in a whole is a hyperfixation and a interest for me. So I like to do research on it. I like to share what I learn, um, kind of things like that, which is why I started my podcast and why I came onto Substack. I actually started on Spotify for creators, and I learned through doing it on Substack that I get a lot more traffic that way. Um, and I don't know if it's just the way the platform is set up or what, but yeah. So this is an Ask Me Anything. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to just pop them into that chat and I can answer them as we go. Um, we could talk first about like how AuDHD is different from just ADHD or just autism. ADHD alone often centers around like attention, impulsivity, working memory, time blindness, masking, emotional regulation, motivation. But then when you add the autism in, which involves strong needs for like sameness, rigidity, sensory regulation, direct communication, routines, focused interest, when both present, um, it includes a very spicy mix of executive dysfunction, sensory sensitivities, emotional intensity, hyperfocus, social exhaustion, task paralysis, burnout, restlessness, need for routine, novelty seeking. Um, there's a ton of stuff that it overlaps. And then a lot of times when you have ADHD and autism, one hides the other one, unfortunately, um, especially if you're not medicated. Or treated, I should say, because treatments part medication is just part of treatment. So my treatment includes medication, therapy, and coaching. Yes, coaches need coaches, and therapists need therapists. Did I mention I was a coach? Sorry, I'm a little ADHD. I'm also a neurodivergence coach. I coach parents of children who have special needs. I coach kids. I can tutor and coach kids who are neurodiverse. Um, yeah, I have my certification in life and performance coaching, but because I have my degree in early childhood special education and I have so much knowledge about neurodiversity, I feel that I'm a very good coach for those things as well. I'm not a therapist, though. I do therapy, but I'm not a therapist. Let's see. If anybody does anybody have any questions? Because this doesn't ask me anything. Because I don't want to answer like these random questions if somebody in the chat actually has a question. James, welcome in. Heidi, welcome in. Welcome everybody. Well, one of these things is something that I wrote a podcast about and I published today, which is why do plan changes feel so destabilizing? And it's because in the autistic inertia part of our brain, we have to like stop the plan that we originally had going in our head, like pivot and then emotionally regulate while we make a new plan. And usually the plan we had in our heads, we didn't tell anybody else about it. So then if we seem passive aggressive, yeah, it's it's not great for especially when the plan changes happen and you're with other people and you have plans like with others and the plans change and you have to do all of that while you are it's the predictability. It disrupts the autistic need for predictability and it kind of overloads the brain. ADHD brain's like executive functioning. So we kind of like spaz out for a second. Not spaz out. We kind of like I don't know, think about it as a computer. It doesn't like really restart the whole way, like the screen kind of goes off and then like almost shuts off. It doesn't actually shut off. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of people ask me what executive dysfunction is in ADHD. And executive dysfunction is, to put it in simplest terms, the functions that you need to use and execute to be a proper adult. But that involves like planning, organizing, task switching, starting, motivation, remembering, prioritizing, finishing tasks. Um, yeah, it's it's one of those things with people's brains. I know that one of my followers did have a question, and I don't remember the exact wording. Let me see if I can get to it on my computer because he did tell me I had a live yesterday that I canceled. Today's live was originally scheduled for later on, but I was planning in fantasy and not reality. That's another thing that us ADHDers or ADHDers like to do. We love to plan. We love a pretty plan. We love a plan that looks great. But then we have to bring ourselves back to reality because usually that plan is not going to happen the way you want it to because you've overplanned or you planned something for the afternoon. You have your best thinking time in the morning hours. So, um, let's see if can I I'm so sorry for anybody who RSVP'd like twice and I was like, she's moving it again. Um, I have ADHD. I'm so sorry. There it is. I wanted to get a chance to ask you about your superior skills as a humorist. You use humor to illustrate your ideas and observations so well without getting mired into toxic positivity. How do you keep such a keen sense of humor regarding ADHD? Honestly, okay, this is kind of dark humor is something that I've always used as a coping skill. My therapist will tell you it's not that healthy. But even though it's not that healthy, it's funny. At least it makes me laugh. Like, I'll blow up on somebody and then I'll apologize. And my apology includes a joke about my rigidness and how I need to be loosened up. And that's just infer what you like from that. But I just, or like people ask me, like, oh, how did you benefit from being diagnosed late? I'm like, well, I didn't really pay attention in history class while they were feeding us propaganda. So stuff like that. I don't know. Um, how do I keep such a keen sense of humor? Because if I didn't, I would cry all the time. You have to laugh at yourself. You have to. You have to drive back to your house because you're on your way to work and you forgot something that you need. You have to turn around. And you're only like 5 minutes away from your house, but this is not a 10-minute like detour that you have to take because you forgot something. So your working memory sucks. And you have to laugh at that and be like, oh, like I talk to my brain like it's outside and it's like it's another person. That helps. It helps because one, it helps with like internal monologue. So speaking to yourself kindly because a lot of us are not very nice to ourselves. Like to motivate ourselves with like meanness. That's not the only way to motivate yourself. I'm motivated to do this right now. This is something I wanted to do, but also it's something that's hard to start. It's scary. It's all the things. So I am giving myself a reward afterwards, which is ordering lunch. Um, I did a reward this morning. I recorded and published that podcast, and then I got to take a walk because I get to play my game while I walk. I play Pokemon Go still. Yes, I'm in my 30s and I play Pokemon Go, but it gets me outside. It gets me walking, and I need to walk in order to make all those fun chemicals go off in my brain so that I makes me want to do boring things like laundry that's happening over there right now. Let's see, we have 7 people in here and no questions so far, besides Tom's question, who is not, I don't think he's not here, but he posted on my canceled note, and that's what he asked. I use humor to illustrate my ideas because I don't know. I mean, toxic positivity feels gross. I don't think I'd ever be mired into it. Um, but like, I don't talk to myself meanly, but I'm like, let's see how fast you can get this time. Can you beat this timer? Like, I challenge myself. I like to win. I'm very competitive, even with myself. So, like, I can be competitive with a game. Like there are these little challenges that you have to beat on Pokemon Go, and they give you a week. But I get try to get it done as fast as I can. There's no extra reward for doing it. It just gives me dopamine. So you have to find the things that give you dopamine. Do podcasts give you dopamine? Some people, including me, and a lot of other people, have to carry one of these around so they can watch TV while they do dishes and laundry and cleaning because they have to be listening to something. And you could be like actively listening to it or like subconsciously listening to it. Sometimes our brains just need that extra little boost of stimulation to get going and to keep going. Um, let's see, like nervous system questions, executive dysfunction, late diagnosed life, masking burnout routines, relationships. Bring your questions. Did y'all not bring your questions? Because I made it early. Rescheduled it for a little earlier in the day. So you have time. Maybe think of a question. I have a list of your questions. Some of these I don't really like. Like, is AuDHD the same thing as being lazy? No, obviously it's not. It's task paralysis, and it usually we care more than people think. Um, what is masking? I've been told that, especially by neurodivergent people or people that don't have ADHD or autism, they believe that masking is being fake. Kind of, but not really. Masking is hiding, suppressing, or camouflaging those neurodivergent traits that we have to appear more normal because we don't want to be weird. We want to be accepted socially. Um, we want to appear as calm, easygoing, productive, all those things. So sometimes this can include scripting conversations, avoiding eye contact, or paying way too much attention to how much eye contact you're making. Hair twirling, stems like physical, they're actually called repetitive body movements. I believe there's another word in there, but they also are called stims. Over apologizing, over explaining, pretending not to be overstimulated when you are. Those are all masking things. Those are all why, like reasons we mask. And then it's so exhausting because the person is running, like the person who is masking, we're running a whole customer service department, like inside of our brains. Like we're also trying to just like exist and live as a person. Um, Sometimes this can lead to burnout, and that can feel like profound exhaustion, sensory intolerance, loss of skills, shutdowns, irritability to the max, identity confusion, emotional depletion, lower productivity levels, especially at work and at home. It can actually lead to depression and anxiety. So we've been a lot. We've been alive. We've been live for about 15 minutes. If I don't get any questions in the next like 5 minutes, I'm probably gonna end the live. And this is my second Ask Me Anything. And I got maybe two questions in the last one, none so far in this one. So I might be making some subject lines that would probably be better. Um, why are emotions so intense for people who have ADHD? Well, ADHD involves emotional impulsivity and rapid emotional shifts, while autism can involve deep sensory and nervous system overwhelm. So when you put it together, feelings arrive like a weather event with literally no warning label. And weather by weather event, I mean like a severe thunderstorm, possibly a tornado, because that's what it feels like in our brains and bodies. Why do ADHD people need so much recovery time? Because we have both ADHD and autism. So we have to recover from autistic masking and ADHD masking, socializing, sensory input, decision making, transitioning, capacity, all those things. Recovery is not dramatic. It's literally like neurological housekeeping, like journaling every day. I have a post on journaling. It's a popular one. It still is like the top, like, what is it? I like the top 30 tips for kids and adults. That one's really popular too. Um, these are a couple good ones. Can ADHD be missed in childhood? Yes, it can. I'm an example, and so many of us are. Some people, especially high masking kids, girls, gifted children, quiet kids, anxious kids, and people with a strong, like, if you're good at compensating for your ADHD and autism, which usually a lot of times or whatever can look like OCD tendencies, but they're not. It's just like we're trying to compensate. So we may not be identified until adolescence or adulthood. And a lot of that for women has to do with hormonal changes, like when you have your first kid, or it can't even be like when you get your period, when you have your first kid, when you hit perimenopause or menopause. That is when a lot of women realize that they have it. Or a doctor finally is like, they finally see a doctor that is like, oh my God, like, how did somebody miss your glaring ADHD? So this goes along with another question. Why are so many adults realizing their ADHD now? Well, more adults are learning that autism and ADHD can coexist. Because actually, in the DSM before the five, you couldn't have both. Did you know that? Couldn't have both ADHD and autism. ADHD was under an autism diagnosis, but they couldn't diagnose you with both. More adults are learning that autism and ADHD can coexist, that traits look a lot different in adults, and that masking can hide the disability until life demands, exceeding coping capacity. So basically, the mask worked until it started changing interest, basically, is what happens. We realize it because we are pushed into overload and into burnout. Um, there's also this like thing going around on TikTok, and they call it how to know if you have feminine autism, which is the same thing as just level one autism, what used to be referred to as Asperger's, which we don't refer to it anymore like that. Because usually these people are fine socially, like on the outside, and they make eye contact, they're, you know, high functioning, quote unquote, because I can't think of a better word for it right now. So we are even like I was missed. I was given a full evaluation for ADHD and they completely missed the autism. And I know for a fact I have it. Like nobody could convince me otherwise. Self diagnosis is valid. And if the coping things help me, then I don't need to be diagnosed. I'm diagnosed with ADHD already, and that gets me the disability things that I need. Um, let's end with these two questions because I don't see any in the chat. How is AuDHD diagnosed? A qualified clinician typically evaluates developmentally as developmental history, current traits, functioning across settings, ADHD symptoms, autistic traits, mental health history, sensory profile, and possible co-occurring conditions. I would suggest going to a psychologist to get a full evaluation and then for treatment, going to a psychiatrist if you want to be supported with ADHD medication. ADHD is not something you can cure, but we can support it with medication, therapy, coaching, accommodations, sensory supports, routines, sleep supports, communication tools, and environmental changes. Those are all things that can help. Also, like there are tons of other things, like some helpful supports can be written instructions, turning on the captions on your TV. If you don't have that done, do that when you get home or next time you watch TV. You'll be surprised at how much you love it and how much it helps. It's great. Um, Noise reduction. I always have this in, whether it's playing something or not, 'cause it's noise reducing. Clear expectations, task breakdowns, recovery times, visual reminders, loud reminders that take up your whole phone screen and like sing a song to get your attention and make you do it. Body doubling, that is a good one. That one's wonderful. And I body doubled my best friend the other day. Did she notice? She took out her journal to journal, so I did the same thing. I just used it as a body double. I didn't even tell her. She's neurotypical. Like, she know. I mean, maybe she knows what body doubling is, but she didn't know that that's what I was doing. Maybe she did. I don't know. Let's see. This is a good one. A lot of recovery time and permission to communicate directly without performing social theater for the villagers. On that funny note, since there are still no questions in the chat, I'm going to end this live. And I think that people should really give me some feedback on should I do subject wise because I talk about neurodivergence and ADHD and AuDHD. So should I do specific things about that? Do you guys like this kind of all over the place stuff? Do you want like a subject or something under AuDHD, like AuDHD and um like what people don't understand or rejection sensitivity or things like that? I would really appreciate it. Stay authentic, my friends, and we will talk soon.